Hello, welcome to Lesbian. I just want to talk kind of briefly about two Sapphic duologies that were kind of my introduction into the Sapphic literature realm. They're duologies that I really enjoyed, but more than that, I think they were great starting points. One of the first books that I turned to after coming out was a YA romantasy called Crier's War. Crier's War features a forbidden love affair, enemies to lovers romance, which is just so freaking juicy. It is pretty YA, meaning it's a pretty easy read through. The world building is good, but it's like rather kind of basic. So it's very easy to get into, but if you're looking for something a little bit denser or heavier, I wouldn't say that this world is best for you. It's an easy read. For queer readers, you deserve every adventure. This world is divided into two races, or kind of species rather. Autome, which are like these man-made robots that were made to kind of serve the human race. But then of course, as in any AI story, they kind of end up like usurping the human race. And then Ayla, the love interest, is of course, you guessed it, a human. Hell-bent on killing Crier. So Crier is a princess? It's been a while since I've read this. She's of royal descent, and she's living in a palace. And Ayla has some beef with this Autome family, so she is hell-bent on killing Crier, sneaking into the palace in an attempt to murder her. But of course they fall in love. So that sparks this kind of, not only enemies to lovers, but it is a forbidden love. They're not supposed to be together. They're not supposed to get along. And their love kind of sparks a whole revolution. So it is a big world. The world building is fun and it is good. I wouldn't say, like, it's a very easy read. I wouldn't say it's absolutely nothing to be intimidated by as far as like the world goes. Pretty straightforward fantasy. So, Crier's War and Ironheart, Nina Varela, one of the first duologies, one of the first Sapphic series I ever read, and no regrets there. But this year, I read Gearbreakers by Zoe, Hana, Mikuta. Also a duology. The sequel is called Godslayers, and it is also, like Crier's War, this sequel is just as good, if not better. Unlike Crier's War, Gearbreakers is a sci-fi duology. Romance is definitely not as heavy in this as it is in Crier's War. Crier's War is definitely a romantasy. The romance is like at the forefront. In Gearbreakers, the plot takes a bit more of a front seat, but the romance also does drive the plot quite a good bit. So there is some good tension in here. To me, the romance plays out a whole lot more satisfyingly in Godslayers. Probably because they're already together by the end of this one, but there's a lot of unexpected conflict that gets between them in Godslayers that makes the relationship really fascinating. Similar to Crier's War, the world is kind of divided into this tyrannical city called Godalia, which is pretty much trying to rule the world with these, what they call wind-ups, which are basically just mega mecha units, gigantic humanoid robots. Like if you've seen the movie Pacific Rim, it's a lot like that. Meant to kind of guard and control the outer skirts of Godalia. But in those outer skirts, we have what are called Gearbreakers, which are rebels who have pretty much devoted their lives to breaking into these mega mecha units, wind-ups, and destroying them from the inside out. One of our main characters, Belsona, or Sona, or Glitch, as they call her, purposefully infiltrates, puts herself through the Godalia Academy to become a pilot of one of these wind-ups, in order to kind of sabotage Godalia from the inside out. So she becomes the enemy. But while she is the enemy, she meets and befriends Eris and her team of Gearbreakers, and they start working together to bring down Godalia and these wind-ups. They're the bad guys, okay? This is a pretty action-heavy, both of these are like very action-heavy novels, but the way that it's written, at times it can feel very fast-paced, very action-packed, very, like it's written very well for that, but there are also moments emotional beats where it slows down and does things right. So I really like the pacing of this. Feels really, really good. I think my only beef, like these are 4-star books to me, and I think my only reason why, really, in some of the action scenes, it can get just a little confusing, the layout of how everything is happening, and I think it's because the action is so big, but nothing that you can't power through and nothing that you can't enjoy. There's actually some really good snarky humor in here that I'm a really big fan of as well. Like, the love between these two girls is like full of bickering, and honestly, like, that's my love language. I relate to that a lot. I like being able to be a little bit snarky with my partner, being a little bit mean, and so I love that, and I really relate to their relationship a lot. And I just like last week finished the sequel Godslayers, and like I said, it was, to me, it was a lot better than the first one. And again, I don't know if that's just because I knew the world and the characters already, or if the writing actually got more confident. Actually, the plot in this one, to me, was just a whole lot more interesting than in Gearbreakers. So it's definitely worth reading both of these. But I think the beautiful thing about duologies is that you don't have to commit. Unlike a singular, ginormous book, you know what I'm talking about, you have the option of walking away halfway through and not feeling bad about it. If you pick up Crier's War and you don't like it, you don't have to read Ironheart. I love duologies. I really, really do. And these are both, I think, great openings to Sapphic storytelling and literature. So if you're just now getting into that, I think these are great gateways. These can be your gateway drugs. I don't know if I could pick between these two. No, I could. I think I honestly liked this duology better. That's kind of crazy for me to say. I can say both of these duologies have happy gay endings. And that's so important, especially if you are new to Sapphic stories. You need those happy endings. So that was just kind of my quick little take on these duologies. And whether or not you're new to queer literature, I think these are fun to check out. Thanks for watching. Go have a gay old time. I'm gonna go be gay. I'm still really thinking about this. I think I might read these again, truthfully. They're just really smart. I like the way that they're written. Okay, anyway, get out of here.